Well, thank you, Honorable Chairperson. It's such a pity that by the time the video is played, I would have actually exhausted my chance to ask any further questions. But my interest is to know whether Mr. Paul O'Sullivan had any previous, airport security management experience before he was appointed at AXA.
Thank you. Chairman, the experience I had was because of my injuries, I was no longer engaged in active policing. So I was doing fraud investigations, and then I ended up at the airport in the border police, and I was working in the border police there. And there were probably about 10 reservists working in the border police. And I sat down with the commander of the border police, and I said, if we can get additional reservists that can speak additional languages, we are going to be able to improve our ability to interview people who don't speak English or any African language. And during that process, we developed what we called an airport security improvement plan. And in order for me to understand what was going on there, I paid at my own expense to go on a course at ICAO in Vancouver in Canada. It's a 3-week course where you learn about aviation security in some detail. And then I came back, and that was as a border police. I wasn't working for AXA. And then what happened, I started a project to reduce crime at the airport. And that project came to the attention of the then chairman / acting CEO, Mr. Mashuda Romano, and it also came to the attention of the then Minister of Transport, Dalla Oma. And it was that led for them to invite me to throw my hat in the ring for this position at AXA. So that was the and of course, I've been in the aviation industry myself, because I also, apart from being a pilot and having my own aircraft, I also had shares in an airline. So I knew a little bit about what goes on, and yeah.
So when you were appointed, what was the role of Khuselane Security? Because then I'm seeing a dual kind of roles now. There is this project that you were implementing, which also had to do with the issues of security or aviation security at OR Tambo.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there is this Khuselane Security,
Yes.
which actually was contracted to do virtually the same as what you actually wanted to do.
No, so Airports Company chairman was responsible for the security at 10 airports. Some of the airports were national airports and some of them were international airports. And AXA was responsible for managing that process. And in order to carry out that, we needed manpower. So Khuselane Security supplied it plus minus 5,000 heads over the 10 airports. And they had a contract for doing that. And that would include things like perimeter security, mobile patrols around the airport in itself, and that had to be managed by AXA. So each airport had a security manager, and each of those airport security managers reported to me as the group executive for aviation security.
Well, there was this committee or a structure you were serving in, which actually was looking at the security of the airport, in which Jackie Selebi also was serving. And some people there actually were not quite happy with you. And you are saying that in your statement, that Jackie Selebi started a campaign to have you actually have your contract terminated because he suspected you of being a spy. Is that correct?
No, Chairman. The allegations of him suspecting of me of being a spy only came 5 years later when I had the criminal docket going against him for corruption. At the time, Jackie Selebi did not sit on any committee, which I was involved in. He went behind the doors, the closed doors, and had the rules changed of the committee that everybody sitting on the committee should have security clearance. And his motivation for that wasn't because he thought I was a spy. It was because he was friends with Kusalani Security and I had cancelled their contract and they still had another 300 million if the contract had run its term. They would have made another 300 million.
So was it not the case of you retaliating to what you actually allege to have actually been done by Jackie Selebi to get your contract terminated, that you also then initiated investigation against him, which actually came first? Was it you investigating him
Chairman,
first before he then, started this campaign to have you actually your contract terminated?
Chairman, I opened a docket against Jackie Selebi whilst I was still working at AXA because of his involvement in trying to stop the cancellation of the Kusalani security contract. So that docket didn't allege corruption, it alleged unlawful interference. But later on, I found evidence of corruption and that was included. So I think you could say that when I realized that he was conspiring with somebody to have me removed, it came much later than I had identified the things that he was up to.
General Fivers is regarded as one of the best police leaders that we have had in this country, and this is a point which was also, which you also collaborated.
I didn't say he was one of the best. I said since General Fivers, we didn't have a police commissioner that completed his term and completed his term with integrity and honesty.
What is that? What is the import of that? If you were to unpack that,
The
about
import
General
of it
Fivers.
was I was drawing a line in the sand with the date, which was actually the date would have been December the 31st, 1999, which is the date upon which.
Yeah, but to me, it implies that General Fivers was the best of the generals that actually came after him. Is that what you actually
No, it's
were
not what
implying?
I said. What I said was, since General Fivers, there had been no police commissioner that had completed his term and done so with integrity.
Okay, that's not my issue. But my issue is what he said about you.
Well, I don't know what he said or what somebody canvassed him to say about me.
Well, many people actually know what he said because they were listening.
Thank you so much, Pangazita.
Oh, thank you.
The last speaker is going to be Honorable Sols. Can we take 1 minute and play that? You said it's 1 minute or 1 second. Can we have it playing?
Were being done virtually, and that's it. So those crooks in Parliament that wanted me to get there in person, in Irish we say Pog Ma Hon, and I'm not going to translate that, but I'm not going there. I'm not.
Was that it? Am I to respond to that, Chairman? Okay.
There is something that was said
Sorry,
in a
must I-
language, through you, Chair. There is something that was said which was not clear in what language it was. Can it be
Irish.
unpacked for us?
It's Irish.
Yeah.
Irlanda.
Can he actually interpret that for us?
Pog Ma Hon, it's a bit like you have to use an analogy because it's not a direct translation, but the Honourable Malema would be able to understand this analogy. It's like saying kill the Boer. Now, does that mean that everybody must go out and shoot? Or what does it mean? And we've seen what the defense was to kill the Boer, that it's a song and that it goes on, however wrong it may be. Pog Ma Hon is also an analogy. It means, literally translated, it means kiss my backside. But it's an analogy.
Okay, thank you. I've heard
It's an analogy, Chairman. It's not. It
So-
It doesn't mean you must come and do it. It means
when you do the interview on that video,
yeah.
when you make those statements, they show me there. So did you mean to say I must do what you say?
Absolutely not. Unless you've cleaned your teeth first. The reality of the situation is, Chairman, that little excerpt that you've seen there came just before a statement where certain members had publicly stated, I must be brought here in a donkey cart. Now, I can assure you, Chairman, I didn't come here in a donkey cart. I came here in a car.
No,
But
it's fine. I think what we wanted to hear was the interpretation of what is it Pog Ma Hon?
Pog Ma Hon.
Okay, Honorable Souls.
Mr. Sullivan,
Yes.
I want to state for the record that I still believe everything you've done in this country is heroic. I still believe it.
Sorry, I didn't catch that. You believe what?
That everything you've done in the country is heroic. I
Thank-
still believe it.
Thank you.
And I will not move from that based on evidence. So I still believe you're a hero. But you are a hero with holes. Nobody's perfect. Nobody can say that you only do things right. And I want to use my few minutes to say that I also still believe that because of your race as a white man and because of the system of apartheid that governed our country at the time, you had some benefit because of that, because that's systematic. And that contributed to some of the excess that you have received during that time. You've benefited from apartheid like every other white person has, but you used it to sacrifice and serve the country and fight against crime. I want to conclude with something that I believe in. I want to read something for you out of the Bible to make my point, and then I conclude. Ephesians chapter number 6, verse number 14. It says, put on the full armor of God. But then it comes in verse 14 and says, put on the breastplate of righteousness. The NIV says, in place. The reason why the words in place in the NIV is added is because there's the righteousness of God and then there's self-righteousness. So your breastplate of righteousness can be out of place, exposing your heart. When you come across in public as arrogant, as disrespecting authority, you run the risk of all the good work that you've done, all the righteous works that you've done, you run the risk of that display of arrogance and disrespect for authority. You run the risk of people losing sight of the good work that you've done. And that is the caution. Put your breastplate of righteousness in place. so that it doesn't elevate self to make it look like you look down on others. I thank you, Chair.
So much. Do you have any comment you want to make?
Chairman, nobody's, as the member mentioned, nobody's perfect in life. And the times at which I may have appeared to be arrogant, there would be times when perhaps I was arrogant. And that was because, Chairman, when you are fighting evil, you can't turn the other cheek. You have to confront it face on. And it's no good being Mr. Nice Guy when you're fighting evil. And when you've got senior police officers, and it's included in my statement, issuing public statements that I'm going to be arrested for this and that and charged with this and that and that. What must I do? Sit and apologize? I come out fighting. And I come out, and it'll be somewhere in that book, and I can't quote it as well as the member does, but somewhere in that book you come out with a sharp sword and you fight back. And if you sow the wind, so you shall reap the whirlwind. And that's the point I was trying to make to some of these people that attacked me unlawfully. And I don't care about the title of hero or anything like that. I care about trying to achieve what I set out to do, which is to unwrap the corruption, the high levels of corruption in this country. And if we can crack that, we have a great country to live in.
Okay. I must give the senior counsel now.
We're going to run out of
2
time.
minutes.
Thank you, Chair. What I'm saying, Chair, we should not be misled here. The interpretation of what we played here is not what the witness is telling us. And the witness must withdraw. You can't call us, this parliament, we are crooks. And we must kiss his ass. It cannot be allowed, Chair. You can't just leave him like that. We cannot be undermined by a settler.
Thank you. Honorable James.
Thank you, Chairperson. No, I concur with Honorable Skhosana here, because this witness before us always seems to be in people's backsides with all his insults. He even told Moti to get the Vaseline ready, and today you are telling us that we must lick your ass. I think you owes us an apology. And then also just a clarity-seeking question. When you said that Action SA was formed of criminality, I need you to explain what you mean by that.
Okay. Honorable Ngola.
No, thank you, Chair. Chair, I'm also worried about the kind of S that we are instructed to kiss. What kind of S is that? I mean, that actually requires a serious apology. And I say he's laughing. He thinks we're playing. He thinks we're playing here. He's laughing. It's not a joke. What kind of S is that we're instructed to kiss? He must withdraw now and apologize officially.
Mr.
Thank you.
Paul O'Sullivan.
Chairman, everything has to be placed in context. And if one wants to analyze the whole of that interview, you will see, Chairman, that allegations were being made by members of this committee or the parties representing members of this committee. Allegations were being made about my integrity. And it was in response to that I made that comment. And if you take the whole interview and you place it in that context, it's not something that requires an apology. However, in the interest of peace, I withdraw the comment and I apologize most humbly. And I will retract that statement.
Thank you.
Chair.
Honorable Malem.
Mr. Paul O'Sullivan, please, thank you very much for that. And will I advise you to also go to the same platform and retract it from there? Because it was said at the eNCA. Can we agree on that?
Chairman, if I can do it, one thing I've never done is prescribe to the media. But if I can do it, I will do it.
Once you use a platform to say something, there's no way that platform can deny you to come back and retract it.
Chairman, I didn't use any platform. I got contacted by somebody and they insisted on doing an interview. I didn't phone them and say, listen, I want to say these things.
No, Mr. Paul, we are at the same level, you have withdrawn, you have retracted, you have apologized. I'm asking you to do a simplest thing of going back to the eNCA and say, guys, I said this thing on this platform. Can I be given an opportunity to retract and apologize unreservedly?
Chairman,
If you are genuinely meaning
sorry,
what you are saying.
Now I'm trying to answer and then what somebody else is talking. Chairman, I'm prepared to cut a deal. I'm a negotiator. If the honourable member withdraws and undertakes not to use the statement "kill the Boer" again, I
No, you,
will.
you,
I
you are,
will.
You are out of order.
Okay.
You are out
No,
of
no,
order.
you have withdrawn without me saying I'm going to withdraw for that. You know there is a judgment. Now you are challenging courts. I'm not going to do that. And you are not in agreement with me. I'm saying to you, you have already done it here
I'll do what I can, Chairman, to withdraw.
to withdraw that thing at the eNCA.
Thank you.
But the
Mr.
problem-
Paul O'Sullivan,
The problem is, Chairman,
it
I will
was
do-
said at the eNCA. Are you going to withdraw it at the
if I
eNCA?
can, I will.
Thank you.
But the problem is,
Bangaz-
Chairman, I just need to
Bangazit.
mention that we're going to run out of time soon.
Bangazit.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. I was going to also suggest that he also withdraws the reference he made on members of parliament being crooks, because
those
he's
crooks.
painting everybody, all
Those
of
crooks-
us
those
with the
crooks in
same brush.
Parliament. Yeah.
Unless he knows one specific member who is a crook, and then mention that, not just
Well-
a blanket, painting of all members as crooks.
We can be here for another 2 days discussing this, Chairman, because I have
No,
actually...
no. You,
I know
you-
for a fact
you-
that there are some crooks in Parliament.
yeah.
Name them, please,
You-
Chair.
you-
You must name them. You must not go here
you could,
casting aspersion on us. Here.
you could have said some.
I think I said so.
Yeah.
Tell us
but-
who's the
but
crooks.
No. You have agreed that you are going to withdraw those statements that you made, isn't it?
That's right, Chairman.
Thank you.
If we
Honorable
can
Ngola.
move on, because I'm going to run out of time.
No, Chair, I'm covered on the first aspect of the crooks thingy. And I think put in correct context, the interview was solely about us calling for his testimony. So saying I am not going to go to those crooks in Parliament means it's the committee, whoever it is. So I also support that it must be withdrawn. Lastly, Chair, eNCA is seated there and they are willing to take him at lunch for an interview. There is the guy for eNCA. I have already negotiated with him that they must take Mr. Paul O'Sullivan during lunch. He must apologize in eNCA. Thank you.
Thank you for that arrangement, Honorable Sols.
Mr. O'Sullivan,
Chairman, I didn't hear. Somebody said something?
Yeah, no, the eNCA is there. They are going to grab you by the hand just for 2
They're
minutes.
going to have to jump in my car and travel with me to the airport,
No,
Chairman.
no, it's fine. They are here. They will escort you as you go out.
Mr. O'Sullivan, when the scripture talks,
Sorry, there you are.
when the scripture talks,
Yes,
it's not asking you to be weak. The violent take it by force.
yes.
But don't ever mistake meekness for weakness.
No.
So what you've just done now, by withdrawing, already it will have the impact on the focus being on your evidence rather than your arrogance. So you're doing the right thing when you withdraw. You are on track by putting your breastplate of righteousness in place.
Thank you.
Okay, Advocate Mkhize.